Everyone thinks Mercedes has already won the 2026 title. The headlines are screaming across every major publication. The media is calling 18-year-old Kimi Antonelli the next Michael Schumacher after he clocked a blistering 1:17.2 lap at the Barcelona circuit. Even the paddock insiders are whispering that the Silver Arrows have found a magic engine mode that has put them 2 years ahead of the field before a single race has been run. But they are looking at the wrong data. Welcome back to World Formula Apex. Today, we've obtained something the FIA didn't want the public to see: the raw, unedited GPS telemetry from the final hour of the Barcelona Shakedown. This data reveals a terrifying reality for Mercedes, but not for the reason you think. While the Silver Arrows were out there running glory laps on low fuel to grab the headlines and satisfy their hungry sponsors, Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari were doing something much more calculated and much more dangerous for the rest of the grid. In this deep dive investigation, we are going to peel back the layers of the biggest deception in modern Formula One history. We are going to show you why Hamilton was lifting off the throttle 50 meters before the finish line on his fastest laps. We are going to expose the lead ballast secret hidden inside the Red Bull side pods. And by the end of this analysis, you will understand why the Bahrain Grand Prix isn't going to be a Mercedes walkover, it's going to be a Ferrari ambush. If you want the truth that the official broadcast won't tell you, you are in the right place. To understand why Mercedes looks so fast, we have to look at what they were doing on Thursday and Friday. George Russell and Kimi Antonelli were consistently topping the charts, creating an aura of invincibility. But when we look at the energy deployment curve in the GPS data, something stands out. Mercedes was using 100% of their MGU-K battery on every single straight. In the 2026 regulations, you only have a limited amount of electrical energy per lap. If you use it all in one lap for a headline time, your next lap will be 5 seconds slower because the battery is empty. Mercedes was running qualifying simulations while the track was at its peak temperature. It was a marketing exercise designed to reclaim their status as the dominant force in F1. Compare that to the Ferrari SF26. On Friday afternoon, Lewis Hamilton set a 1:16.348. On paper, it's just a tenth faster than Russell. But our data shows that Hamilton's battery was still at 40% charge when he crossed the line. He wasn't even using the full 350 kilowatts of power. He was short, shifting at 11,000 RPM when the engine can go to 12,000. Why would a 7-time world champion hold back? Because Ferrari is terrified of a technical directive. This brings us to the grey area of the 16:1 compression ratio. Our sources inside the Ferrari engine department claim that Maranello has developed a revolutionary, variable volume combustion chamber. By using a specific alloy in the piston head that expands under extreme heat, Ferrari can pass the FIA static test at a legal 16:1. But once that engine hits 105 degrees Celsius in the middle of a race stint, the ratio jumps to 17:5:1. That is a massive horsepower gain that no one else has. If Hamilton showed that speed in Barcelona, the FIA would have 2 weeks to ban it. So, Hamilton was told to sandbag. Every time he entered Sector 3, the most technical part of the track, he was purple. He was gaining time in the corners where aero matters. But the moment he straightened the car for the finish line, he lifted. He threw away 0.3 of a second on purpose to stay under the radar. Now, let's talk about the world champions. Max Verstappen finished the test in P7. For the average fan, it looks like Red Bull is in trouble. But look at the ride height of the RB22. The car was bottoming out on the straights even with the hardest suspension settings. Why? because Red Bull wasn't just running with a full tank of fuel. We have reports that they were running lead ballast, plates hidden inside the side pods to simulate a super heavy race start. Red Bull Ford isn't worried about Mercedes, they are worried about reliability. They spent the entire week running the engine at 90% capacity to see if the new Ford electrical components could handle the heat. Max Verstappen's P7 was done on an engine map so conservative it would struggle to beat a Formula 2 car on the straights. When they take that ballast out and turn the engine to Mode 1, in Bahrain, the shockwave will be felt across the entire pit lane. The final piece of the puzzle is active aerodynamics. We saw the mystery, blue light, on the Aston Martin, which we now know is a sensor for the rear wing flap stall point. In 2026, the cars have Z mode for corners and X mode for straights. Mercedes has the best X mode integration, their car is a rocket in a straight line. But Ferrari has mastered the transition. While the Mercedes looks nervous when the wings move, the Ferrari stays planted. We've analyzed the high-speed footage from Turn 9. While Antonelli had to make 3 steering corrections, Hamilton's Ferrari looked like it was on rails. This tells us that even if Mercedes has the engine power, Ferrari has the drivability. And in a 57-lap race, drivability beats a glory lap every single time. So, here is the reality: Mercedes has the headlines. Kimi Antonelli has the hype, but Lewis Hamilton has the data. The 2026 war isn't being fought on the timesheets. It's being fought in the software maps and the secret expansion alloys. When the lights go out in Bahrain, don't be surprised when the slow Ferrari and the heavy Red Bull suddenly find 2 seconds of pace that nobody saw coming. This is a game of high-stakes deception, and Maranello is playing it better than anyone. You've been watching World Formula Apex. We are the only channel digging this deep into the 2026 telemetry. If you want to be the smartest F1 fan in the room, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Tomorrow, we are doing a deep dive into the Williams disaster, and trust me, it's worse than you think. I'm your host, and I'll see you at the apex.